Hey everyone, this is Dave Cooper, and we are in Denver, Colorado at the Housing Innovation Alliance live roundtables. And today I have the privilege of speaking with Danny Small from Strategyn. Danny, thank you so much for taking the time.
You bet. Thank you, Dave.
Danny, tell us a little bit about what your experience here has been so far. This is your first event.
It is. It's been really great. I've met a lot of really high-quality people that have great insights into attainable housing and innovation in the housing space.
Right. So let's talk about that innovation a little bit, right? You're heading up innovation for your company, is that correct?
For the construction space, that's right.
Okay. Can you elaborate on what it is you're doing?
Yeah, so Strategyn is a company that's focused on innovation, and I'm starting up a construction-focused practice area within Strategyn. We pioneered the concept of applying jobs to be done theory to innovation 30 years ago. And really what we do is we help companies through data and science to better understand their customers so that they can develop successful products and services and increase their success in their innovation.
Right, right. And Strategyn's been around for a long time. Can you give us a little bit of background on them?
Yeah, so it was started nearly 30 years ago by Tony Ulwick, who was an engineer with IBM. He was involved in one of the greatest innovation failures of all time, the PC Junior. And through that experience, he thought there's got to be a better way to innovate so that we can make this more predictable and less risky. And so he went about applying Six Sigma and Lean principles to the innovation process and developed what we call outcome-driven innovation, which is applying the idea of jobs theory to the innovation process and making it systematized, really making innovation into a science so that it's much less risky and much more productive.
Right. So the research that you guys are doing out there is basically systematized, like you said, so you can have repetitive outcomes?
Right. Yeah, it's all about making innovation predictable. Yeah. As we all know, innovation is kind of notorious for having a reputation of being random, kind of throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. And that makes it very costly and very risky. And as we know, in construction in particular, that doesn't really fly, right? In construction, you've either got companies who feel like they're already doing it, but they're not getting the results that they want out of innovation, or they feel like they don't need to innovate because they feel like they're already doing that kind of a thing, or they feel like, I'm not sure what to do with innovation because we're working on very tight margins, as we know, with contractors, and so they don't want to do something that's really risky. So I feel like our process can really resonate with the construction industry in particular to appeal to that need to have a lower risk, higher reward version of innovation.
Right. I mean, so it's actually wonderful. I mean, innovation, attainability for housing, right? That's what this whole event is about.
Yeah.
So it's really a good fit for you guys to be here. What do you think the opportunity is for innovation and towards in attainable housing?
You know, I think that in attainable housing, perhaps more than most markets or areas, we really need to focus on the job that customer is trying to get done. You know, that's our mantra, that's what we follow, and that's what we believe is going to bring the most reliable results in innovation in general. But with attainable housing in particular, I feel like it's extra important to get to and study the job that end user needs to get done. Because with attainable housing, you've got particular needs that those residents have. And so often in this industry and others, we end up studying our service or our product. Sometimes we'll talk to the customer and we gather some inputs, but we ask them about the product or about the service. What we need to do is we need to ask them about what they know about, which is what they're trying to get done when they purchase housing or lease housing. So when we get to that, then we can study something that stays constant and really innovate in breakthrough ways instead of just kind of iterating and incrementalizing what we're doing already.
I think this is awesome. So we're in an event where we're talking about attainability in housing. We're talking about innovation in housing,
Yeah.
right? And the whole event is wrapped around this entire concept so we can kind of break the barriers to get to the attainable housing market as well. So Danny Small, I'm Dave Cooper. We are in Denver, Colorado at the Housing Innovation Live Roundtables. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Dave.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.